week. I just had an amazing experience. A friend of mine her mom had passed away, and on Monday was the memorial. Sounds like it's kind of
good.
Okay. So Monday was the memorial, and her mom, her name was Jane, and she was an amazing, amazing woman of faith. She had gone to seminary, she was a Bible teacher, she was a pastor, she retired to ministry in Arizona. She was the mother of a church, she just had a passion for the Lord. So on Monday I went to her memorial service, a celebration of life, and what they had asked is for everyone to just honor who she was and celebrate that she was with Jesus. So this was a woman who just craved to see the face of God. She just told everybody she wanted to be in Jesus' presence. So the worship team goes up there. There's about 10 of them across the stage, and they start with "Oh Happy Day." At the very beginning, people started to clap, and that was the end of what you heard from the worship team, because the voices in the congregation were so loud and so passionate, celebrating this woman and her life, and her finally getting to see Jesus, to be in his presence. And for weeks before that, she had just told them, she said, I want to be in his presence. I want to be with him. So the worship goes on, and rarely did you even hear the worship team. I cannot even tell you what songs they sang. I know there was "I Love You, Jesus" in there somewhere, but the voices were so loud, and the worship was so intense. And all I could think was this right here. This is what Pastor Russ was talking about on Sunday. This is exactly what it was. This passion. They were celebrating her life, and it was amazing. I just lost myself in the worship. At one point, I felt like I couldn't stand up anymore. Like my knees were going to buckle because it was so intense. So all week, all I've been thinking about it over and over, and trying to explain, or trying to make sense in my head what actually happened. And just wanting desperately, desperately, desperately to be back in that moment. Because the presence of Jesus was there. He was invited into the room, and he was expected to show up. And it was just, it was amazing. It was so neat. So I talked to the pastor afterwards, and I just said, this was great. This was wonderful. And he said, Jane did this. When she came, she created this culture. Wow. She was the one that grew our worship team. And this was a woman who didn't like change. She only started texting 3 years ago. Okay? But she believed in building up the next generation because they're the future of the church. And she embraced their music, and she embraced their passion, and she taught them how to passionately worship Jesus. The pictures on the slideshow during the memorial at the end were of her standing, arms up in the air, tears rolling down her face, sitting in her chair, arms up in the air, tears rolling down her face as she worshiped Jesus. They said she always sat in the front row, and she always worshiped Jesus with that presence, or with that passion. And anyway, it just brought joy to my whole week. Every time I was having a bad day, that's what I thought about. I woke up in the morning thinking about it. It so impacted my life. So recently, about a month ago, I had recommitted to getting up same time every morning before my children and praying, reading my Bible and praying. This week, my challenge to myself is I'm going to get up and I'm going to worship.
Nice.
And that's going to be the beginning. Then I'll, read my Bible and pray. But I just want to get that back. I want that passion back, and I can do it in my own house. You know what I mean? And I don't have to wait for Sunday. And then the other thought was how cool we have City Church. This team, this core group right here, has the ability to affect generations. When we go in and we invite the presence of Jesus to come into the room wherever we're worshiping, and then expecting him to be there. And then those people that walk in the door that don't know about worship, we're setting the example. We're showing them how to accept the presence of Jesus, how to invite him in, and how to worship him with all of our hearts. And I just, the future of City Church, that's just so exciting. Because there's so many people that will walk in that door that have never had that experience, and for the whole week, they can have that joy in their heart. that in just a few minutes of song, just a few minutes, their entire lives could be changed. Their
Right.
whole week could be changed.
That's right.
So,
So if you have your Bibles, Catherine, I'm sorry, I'm not using the slides I sent you. I want you to open to Genesis 27 and Luke 15. I need you to have both of those available to you. Genesis 27 and Luke 15. I just asked you to close your eyes and expect. And I don't know what that meant to you. I don't know what went on in your mind. I think for some of you, it was an eternity. It was like, can we just do something different? And all I did was ask you, I timed it, I asked you to expect for 1 minute. And yet, we don't have that. We can't stay in a position of expectation from Jesus for 1 minute. Let me back up. Today will be a completely unbalanced message. Okay, it will be completely unbalanced. It'll be completely unbalanced. You got that? So what I'm not going to do through this unbalanced message that I'm telling you up front is unbalanced. What I'm not going to do is make apologetic statements or try to bring balancing statements through this message. We all right? Okay, so at the end of this, you'll either like me more or less. But this will be an unbalanced message. Okay? Okay, I'm going to keep going until I have at least 50%. Then I know next week I can come back. I'm in an odd season of life right now, and that is, to be real honest with you, my current time with Jesus is probably sweeter than it's been in a long, long time. I get up every morning at 5 a.m. and I snap up. It's not a struggle. I cannot wait to flip on my lamp and get a cup of coffee and just hang out with Jesus for an hour. I am in a sweet season of hanging out with him, and I'm telling you, it's I don't even know where it's going to land. And I know I didn't say I was in an easy season. I said I was in a sweet season. Amazing time with Jesus. Simultaneously, inside of me, there's been a battle, an agitation, a dissatisfaction that I can't really put my finger on and say, "Oh, this is it. This is it." But there's something going on, and so I all week I prepared a great message, in my opinion, I guess. And you guys haven't heard it. I prepared a great message, and I sent Catherine, I don't know how many scriptures to put together slides, and I was gonna begin teaching today actually on tithing. I was gonna take 2 weeks to speak on giving, and then the next week talk on worship. And then the next week, hopefully we will be in the building and we will have water baptism. And then the next week, speak on communion. And if we're not in the building that week, we'll flip those, we'll do communion, and then we'll talk about water baptism. And so I was actually planning out where I felt like we needed to go for the rest of this year. And I realized that was part of my agitation was I was beginning to plan a series or a series of series on really things Christians do rather than on being a Christ follower. And there's a really big difference. I'm gonna read 2 verses, and then I can put this together. We'll have read the Bible, so we can call it church. Genesis 27. I'll refer to these in just a little bit. Genesis 27. When Isaac was old, his eyes were dim, so that he could not see. He called Esau, his oldest son, and said to him, "My son." Esau answered, "Here I am." He said, "Behold, I'm old, and I don't know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons and your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me." Say wild.
Wild.
Okay, hunt wild game for me. And prepare for me delicious foods, such as I love, and bring it to me, so that I may eat, and that my soul may bless you. Now flip over to Luke 15. And I'm going to read the conclusion of the prodigal son. Luke 15 is an amazing chapter. There's 3 stories in it: lost sheep, lost coin, lost son. And I'm going to talk about the lost son. The very end of the lost son, verse 25. That's the story of the prodigal. Prodigal son leaves, comes back. Dad throws a party. Now his older son, the dad's older son, was in the field, and he came and drew near to the house, heard music and dancing, and he called one of the servants. And that's what these things meant. And he said to him, "Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf." Say the.
The.
Yeah, the fatted calf, not a. The. He has an intended reward. He killed the fatted calf because he has received him back safe and sound. But the brother was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him, but he answered his father, "Look, these many years I have served you. I have never disobeyed your command, yet you never gave me a young goat, that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him." And he said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost, now he's found." So I put together a message to begin a couple of weeks on giving and tithing, and really was going to challenge you, and still do challenge you, and may talk about it next week, on stepping up the last 3 months of this year for the 90 days, challenge you to the 90-day challenge. But for 90 days, you would truly tithe, truly, really tithe. And at the end of 90 days, if you're worse off financially, the church will refund you every penny of your tithe. And I still stand behind that. I challenge you. If you're not tithing, I challenge you, take the next 90 days. Start tithing. Tithe is 10%. That's not my message today, but that's my challenge. Next week, it might be my message, but my challenge is, for once in your life, step out. Trust Jesus. Tithe. 90 days. If it doesn't work, we'll pay you back. That's a pretty good guarantee.
Yeah.
Amen. You heard it publicly. It's recorded. We'll put it on YouTube. It'll be known around the world. We got a great guarantee here. It'll come back to you. But if you're not tithing, you don't love Jesus. Now, somebody might argue with me with that, but I could take this. Somebody might say, "Well, it's a financial decision, or I'm not in a position." No, it's not. It's about loving Jesus. And I realized what was agitating me is that even I have become very good at talking about how to understand the Word or how to do the Word. But I haven't really talked about passionately loving Jesus. And for some reason, in the church, there's a challenge to, it seems in the church that churches today, as long as pastors talk, people talk, churches today are kind of in a challenge to be between one of two places. They either need to be, and I don't like labels, because as soon as you say a label, then everybody starts, they think inside of that label, when labels don't really, aren't supposed to define, but they do. But in church today, there seems to be a challenge of church philosophy or church personality. Should a church be seeker friendly? Should it be for the unchurched? Or should church be for the church and more of a discipleship environment? I don't know why my mouth is so dry today. I guess I'm nervous about what might come out. You might want to be as well.
I am.
Tracy could use some water. There seemed to be this question of unchurched culture versus church culture, and there's this: what kind of church should we be? Often asked, and really, to be honest with you, I think that's a real insult to Jesus. Because when we start asking that question, what we're saying is he's not able to draw the unchurched and at the simultaneous moment disciple the saint. Does that make sense? I had some really good notes. I was even going to make pledge cards. I was on this thing. But I asked the Lord, where is my peace? I don't know if you do that, but when I think we've all had that time where we're just something's just not right. We're driving down the road and something's just not right. Can't tell you what it is. Been bugging me a couple days, but something's just not right. And sometimes we get clarity, like, oh, that's what it is. It was when I ran over that dog and So I have that going on inside of me, asking the Lord. And so one of my habits is I go, let's ask the Holy Spirit, what is it? What's bugging me? What am I missing? Where did I lose it? Where did I lay my peace down? And if I can't find it, what is it? And I try to pray in the Spirit, just pray through it. So I get that peace. And I was doing that